Hey guys, welcome to Electronic Dance Money, your number one business resource for making money as electronic musicians and producers. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Electronic Dance Money. Hope y'all are doing well. And we got a fun episode lined up. This is one that I've been thinking about for a bit now, and how I'm going to structure it, and actually like testing some of my own things with it to see how well, this topic would actually work, and if it's actually a thing that could help producers. And for sure it is. So today we're going to be talking about the 4 different ways that AI can actually help you in doing some of the day-to-day tasks, whether that has to do with promoting music, creating content, or actually writing music itself. So this has been a hot topic, I feel like, pretty much across the world for the last month or two, especially since the new version of ChatGPT came out and everyone's been freaking out about that. So I've been playing around with some tools. Also, David Guetta had that new track that he was writing that he used, I think he used UberDuck on to recreate Eminem's vocal. So people have been freaking out about that sort of stuff, which is funny because UberDuck, there's an account I've been following on Reels. I can't remember what the name of the account is. I actually haven't seen a post from the account in a little while now, but the guy uses UberDuck to create just the dumbest, weirdest scenarios between different rappers and cuts it's just dumb comedy that's so ridiculous and obscure, but it's funny the way it's done, and it sounds like these different artists, which he uses like Nicki Minaj, Drake, Eminem, Kanye West, just a bunch of different people, and has this AI generate text or speech that sounds like them, and he makes these dumb, stupid comedy videos. And I started following his account probably like 6 months ago is when I found him, and I think that's when UberDuck really started to become popular. But point being is that there's a lot of hype around AI, and I've been trying to find ways in which artists and people can just incorporate these things into their day-to-day, and there's definitely a way. There's a lot of really interesting and creative ways that you can utilize AI in your work and help you come up with fresh new ideas that you may not have thought of before, and it can help get those creative juices flowing. And you can use it as a tool currently to come up with ideas, but hopefully the point of it is that you can either start getting into that rhythm of being able to generate these creative ideas yourself. Though that being said, like, AI is just going to get better. These tools are going to get better and better, and it's going to be more easily accessible for people to actually go out and use something like ChatGPT to generate an entire blog post that you don't necessarily even need to write. Is that good? I don't know. I can't say whether or not that's good or bad. All I can say is that you can still use these sorts of tools to be able to help you push yourself forward and come up with new ideas that you can then take and form into other ideas and build them out from there. So these are going to be the 4 different ways that you can actually start utilizing different AI tools today in your day-to-day to help push the ball forward for yourself. So number 1, right off the top, is generating content ideas for yourself. It can be really, really difficult to sit down and find out, 30 different ways in which you can generate pieces of content. That's kind of tricky. Sometimes you'll get 5 or 6, maybe 7, and then you're like, well, how do I come up with the last 23? It's hard not to start repeating yourself and maybe even going into the vault of other people's content and looking at what they're doing. But, what they were doing 6 or 7 months ago may not apply to today and how you can actually create content and push that out. So content ideas. Probably the best tool to use for this sort of thing is going to be ChatGPT. ChatGPT is so easy to use, and you can quite literally give it parameters like, I'm an EDM producer. Can you give me 10 content ideas that I can create over the next 6 weeks to publish for my fans? And it'll take all of 10 seconds for all of that those content ideas to generate. You can grab those, put them on a Google sheet, and then rank them from, best to worst, and then, start cascading or bridging off of those ideas and how you can develop them into bigger and better things. Hell, you can even utilize ChatGPT to take that idea and ask it to expand upon that, and the things that you may need to create that piece of content, points or emphasis points that need to be made in that specific piece of content to really capture people's attention. There, you can go into a lot of really awesome details. If there's a specific artist at the top of the food chain in your genre that creates really good content, and you want to figure out ideas that you can use to develop content in the style of that artist, you can tell or ask ChatGPT to come up with X amount of content ideas written in the style of this specific artist. And the fucking AI will do that. So it's incredible the things that you can ask ChatGPT to develop for yourself and give you ideas. And it, instead of you having to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours to come up with these ideas, it takes all of 10 seconds to have an AI do it. So there is a massive utilization piece to all of this where you don't have to, and I'm not even saying wasting time, but your time is precious. We've talked a lot about time management, and this is a time management tool that you can use where you no longer need to spend an hour and a half coming up with those content ideas. You can spend 10, 20 minutes and spend the next hour of time that you would, previously probably still sit there and either scroll through Facebook or Instagram. And now you don't have to do that anymore. You can just spend 10 minutes, get the ideas out, and then start developing the ideas and building off of that sort of thing. Number 2 is going to be one of the best utilizations of AI. And again, specifically with ChatGPT, but creating copy for you. This can be copy for ads. This can be copy for posts. This can be copy for promo. Whatever it is, you can have ChatGPT create some sort of piece of ad copy or marketing copy or email marketing copy for you that's written really well. Everything is grammatically correct. If English is your second language or third language, like this is a tool that can be utilized really well for you, where you no longer have to worry about making grammatical errors or spelling mistakes or just the English not sounding well. You can use ChatGPT and have it generate ad copy for you in a language. And I even think you could do this in multiple languages. So if you have a different language that you don't speak at all, let's say you're French and you want to write something in German and you don't know German, but you have a big market in Germany, well, you can have it create specific ad copy for those languages, and it's grammatically correct and it's written well. I don't know all the specific languages that you can use ChatGPT in, but I know there's a lot of different ones, and this can be utilized even with, again, we're talking about ad copy. If you're marketing in a specific region that has a specific language that isn't native to yourself, you can have it write ad copy in that language and tell Facebook or Instagram that you're marketing in this language in that country for this specific ad. And all of a sudden you can start be flooding in with people who probably aren't used to seeing ads being ran by some of their favorite artists in their native tongue. And so immediately you're going to win their hearts over just with that small little gesture. So using AI to write copy for you is a massive one. This is something that I've been utilizing in a lot of ads for both myself and my clients, and it's helped me generate, ideas for ad copy, especially headlines that I never even would have thought of before. Or if I did, it would take me hours to come up with, 30 different headlines. It does take a little bit longer to generate those types of content. So, if you're trying to create an ad headline that has a limit of 30 characters and it needs to be specific to this topic, it can take a little bit longer to generate those sorts of things, but it's awesome to see them pop out, and you can take them, start playing around with them, adjusting specific keywords or including things that it didn't include. And so this is where you can get really creative with it, where you just need the ideas out. You just need some sort of starting point, and you take that starting point and you build off of that. You edit it, you change it, you adjust it. I actually had it write me an entire blog post that I'm probably not going to post. But it was really interesting giving it specific parameters on a topic that I wanted to discuss. And the content that it generated was really, really good content that made sense. It was accurate. And I wouldn't be surprised if you could add SEO parameters in that, where you give it a keyword that you want it to use on each title of each section, and in the heading, and make it, understand that you're trying to be SEO oriented, so you rank higher in searches. That sort of a thing is, you can 100% generate that with Chat GPT, and you could even do that with, have it write you an Instagram post about this topic for this genre of music, and it will actually also generate hashtags for you as well. So it's really fucking in depth, the sort of thing that you could do with some of these AI tools that is just so damn beneficial, especially for artists who are limited on the time that they can spend on certain things, or, you want to get to the creative stuff where you're writing music, but you need to be making X amount of posts. Go in, have it write you 10 different posts. All you have to do is create the, find a way to create the images for those posts, or video content for those posts. And at least the text is generated for you, and you don't really have to think about it. You put it into a spreadsheet on a calendar where you're going to post those that day, or you schedule it ahead of time, and it's essentially done and taken care of for you. It's really like having a virtual assistant that's just an AI. It's a fantastic tool, and I'm really excited to see where it goes in the next 2 or 3 years, because soon enough, I'm sure with images and video content, you're not even really going to need to film anything or make anything yourself. You can just plug parameters that you want to be in a specific post. It's generated for you, and you can push it out. And as long as the content is accurate, it makes sense, it provides some sort of value, who fucking cares who it's written by? If you know how to use a tool really, really well, it doesn't really necessarily matter who it's coming from, as long as it provides some sort of value. It makes sense. You're giving accurate information. It's all good in my book. Number 3 is writing captivating bios, and you can probably mesh this in with the second one with creating copy, but using it to create captivating bios for songs or yourself is a great use of this tool. So you could probably lump this into copy, but I wouldn't necessarily put that in with copy when you're, you have a song that's coming out and you need to write a bio for that song, or you need to update your own bio for yourself. Or let's say you're making a Wikipedia page for yourself. This is a great use of an AI to generate some sort of text for yourself that's going to be published out there publicly, and it's going to remain there for a while until you need to update it later. Obviously with a song, you don't necessarily need to do that, but there's also really great tools like Word Hero. Word Hero is an awesome AI tool where you can go in, essentially have it spruce up a sentence or a paragraph for you, or have it expand upon something for you. So essentially you can write the content yourself. Let's say you write a paragraph or two, and you can plug that paragraph into Word Hero, give it specific parameters, like maybe you want to define a specific mood or the topic idea that you're trying to expand upon, and it will take your content and it will brush it up. It will correct any grammatical errors, and it will give you a number of options that you can choose from. So it will expand upon like 3 different paragraphs or sentences, and you can grab whichever one looks good, pull that into a Word document, and then you can just spruce it up yourself, make changes if you'd like. But creating a really good bio is difficult unless you have some sort of writing background or you hire someone. It's really tough to write about yourself and pull in things, and especially words that make sense and draw people into the energy of your story. It's tough to write something compelling that way. And AI is just like the perfect tool for this sort of thing if you don't have that background. Again, it's even more useful for those of you whose native language is not English. It's a great tool to utilize in that sense where you don't have to even think about really the content that you're writing aside from the base elements that need to be included in the actual bio of the either the song or yourself. All you need to do is plug in specific components that you want included, give it some base content, throw it in, and it will write out the entire thing for you. You know, if you have a friend who's really well versed in English, they can review it for you and essentially give you the okay. But I see a lot of producers struggling with writing captivating bios for both their songs and themselves, and this is the way to kind of overcome that and get over that. The fourth and final way that we can utilize AI is something we were talking about at the beginning of in the intro of this episode, which is using it to help you write music. I've mentioned my past of writer's block and the struggles that I've encountered, and it's a real thing, and I still get it today, to this day. And I've actually been playing around. There's a couple of things that I've got for you guys, some references for you to start utilizing, both for people who can't afford vocals, which it's a fantastic tool. I'll get into it in just a second, but also utilizing something like ChatGPT to actually write a piece of music for you with rhythm, tempo, and key. So this is, again, something that I've been playing around with ChatGPT for helping me get over writer's block. But you can give specific elements that you want to be included with ChatGPT, genre, tempo, key, and have it spit you out some sort of hook. So you can tell ChatGPT, write me a baseline hook for progressive house music written with, you know, written in the tempo of 128 and in the key of G minor. And it will write out the notes that you need to hit, the timing and everything in a specific key. So you can take this information, input it on your own MIDI clip, and start playing around with it. So this isn't necessarily a way that's going to a way that AI is going to completely just write music for you, but it's a way for you to come up with new creative ideas when you're stuck, when you're not sure where to go. Fucking pull up in ChatGPT, put in the parameters that you want, and within 2 minutes you can have a bass line or a chord progression or a melody essentially written for you that you can then take into your program and start sprucing up, adjusting, and adding in your own creative flow for this. And again, this is a tool to be utilized for times where you just don't know the direction you need to take, and you just need a little creative inspiration and a spark. And, you know, the thing about having an AI write this sort of thing for you is it's not going to, like I said, it's not going to take over the entire songwriting process, because there's a whole other layer of songwriting, especially within electronic music, that an AI just can't necessarily do for you. You know, choosing the right leads, choosing the right processing, sometimes choosing the right notes or the velocity of those notes. Those are all elements that you can't necessarily put into an AI at this point, and they can 100% do for you. Even with ChatGPT, it's very, when you request something like this, it's very minimal in the thing that they can do. It's hard to read unless you know how to read tempo, and read music really well, it's kind of hard to decipher exactly what note you need to hit at what time. I mean, actually, I should say it does tell you the specific note to hit, but the timing in which you need to hit the note in a specific bar or chord progression, it can be hard to decipher. So what's nice about that, though, is that it does lend to you some more creative freedom and expression for you to interpret the thing that it's telling you to do. So it's not like it's writing out an entire sheet of music for you, telling you explicitly when to hit a note and where. It's just giving you an idea of like, hey, use these notes, now come up with the rhythm yourself. And that can really help when you're stuck in a creative rut and writer's block, and you can essentially take the information and start playing around with it, and it gets you going down the right path. So utilizing this in some sort of creative way during your songwriting process, I think can be a really, really, really great tool. It's definitely helped myself with getting over some writer's block. But going even deeper than that, with vocals, AI is becoming fucking crazy right now, being able to express vocals in a way that you never could before. So there's one app that my buddy sent over to me that is out of this world. It's called Envious app. So if you go to enviousapp.com, I'll have it in the show notes, but what you can do is you can select either a male or a female vocal, give it a tempo, give it a key, and you can write the lyrics yourself, and it generates a vocal for you that does not sound like it's generated by an AI. It's a fantastic vocal with proper key changes, note changes, and taking your lyrics and being able to apply it to music. It is one of the best AI voice tools that I've seen yet to date. And it's a great way for you to start writing original vocals that you can use without needing to go to Splice. And if you start practicing or know how to write vocals and lyrics, this is a no-brainer for you to start utilizing today. It can, and you know, if you don't want to use it explicit, use an explicit vocal for an original track. I don't know the logistics of copyright and what their terms and agreements are and using a fully released track. You'd really need to look into that. And even with David Guetta and using like an Eminem vocal, I don't know what the logistics of that, using name and likeness on a piece of art and selling that for money. I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be some issues with David Guetta, and he's probably limited in what he can do with that song and if he can actually release it. Regardless, using this for generating some sort of, bullshit vocal and then taking that and splicing it and creating some sort of vocal chop is a great way to use a tool like this. Or if you write something like bass house, or I even see it in bass music sometimes, or future bass, using some sort of AI generated vocal tool like Envious, you can create some sort of quick like 2-bar vocal loop that repeats over the entirety of the breakdown. Loopers does this in a lot of his tracks, not using specifically a voice generator, but if you don't have someone you can reach out to that could create something like that, or you're not confident in your own voice, you can have the AI generate that and then manipulate it somehow so it doesn't really sound like it's come from an AI generated tool like that. And that's more than likely how you can get around any sort of copyright issues, is as long as you change the vocal enough, shift it up an octave or whatever. If you manipulate it enough, you shouldn't necessarily have any issues with that. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving you any legal advice. I'm not giving you any copyright advice. You should probably talk to an actual music lawyer if you want a definite yes or no, if you can use something. But as far as my understanding goes in US law, Creative Commons, that as long as you manipulate the original vocal, you should be fine. Another way you can use that is, like I was saying, using something like UberDuck, which I'm pretty sure is what David Guetta had used to get that Eminem vocal that's not actually Eminem. Use that in some fun, creative stuff like mashups, like taking something, mashing it up, and use it in live events. It's a great way to add some fun, creative edge to your live shows with original music that no one's ever going to hear before, or no one's ever heard before, and used in a new way where the audience gets more engaged and they're more interested and intrigued in what you're doing on stage. So it just adds some extra value. But that's pretty much it. Those are the 4 ways in which you can start utilizing AI today, and I strongly suggest you do, because these are all time savers. They all help you generate more creativity and be more productive. So get at it, start utilizing some of these tools. I promise you won't regret it. Head to enviousaudio.com/episode 99 to check out the show notes. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.